importantly, it is building on existing flagship projects, namely, Gabiro Agribusiness Hub. This is a large-scale irrigation, which has got 5,600 hectares for phase 1, and we already have investors, about 7 of them, in the scheme. Then phase 2, we have 10,000 hectares. Then over 37 irrigated schemes under World Bank funded project. This is a CEDAT. And then you have Mvumba Multipurpose Dam. This is for water for electricity, domestic use, and irrigation, covering about 10,000 hectares. And then Gako Beef Project, which is 6,000 hectares. And then we have Inyanje Milk Powder Plant, with a capacity to process around 750,000 liters of milk per day. That's quite phenomenal, and yet we are not anywhere to this target. So our new flagship programs under PSTA 5 include farmer service centers. This is where farmers can be able to get access to services, for example, for agriculture tillage. We move away from the traditional hoe, for irrigation, for post-harvest management, for example, shelling, drying, and even transportation. More agribusiness hubs and food basket sites, 5 fruit trees and youth-centered model for fruit orchards. This we have actually started. We had a launch in October, 2 months ago, where we are planting 5 fruit trees for every household, and then around schools, and then in orchards managed by youth. It doesn't only fight malnutrition, but also it provides employment for youth. And then customized agriculture extension services that those who want to go into commercial farming, large-scale farming, can be able to access. So the implementation of PSTA 5 requires a total budget of 6.6 billion approximately, and that's about $5 million. This budget looks very small. We should have to check the figures again. This budget is strategically, we have to check these figures. I'm not comfortable with these figures. This budget, okay, let's say we require a budget, but we shall find this budget. It is strategically designed, should be distributed across the 3 priority areas and flagships that I've just mentioned to drive agricultural transformation, the policies, and then incentives, and support de-risking mechanisms across finance and insurance, so that banks can begin to lend money. We take away the fear of lending institutions to start lending money, to know that they can be able to recover their money in the event things don't go well. But when you provide irrigation, for example, that's an additional insurance to mitigate climate challenges. About 44.2% of the total budget is expected from the private sector investments in infrastructure, value chains, and climate smart initiatives. This year, for example, when we talk of these services for storage, for drying, transportation, this should be private sector led. The rest will be covered through the government and public investments and partners. So on behalf of Minagri and the government of Rwanda, I therefore request that a high-level forum of the agricultural sector working group to actively participate in the implementation of the PSTA 5 as support to the sector's key priorities, aiming at transforming and modernizing and revolutionizing our agriculture in Rwanda. So I do hope that we're going to have a good launch. We're going to be able to engage, especially after here. This is just a ceremony, but I do believe that shortly after here, we're going to convene and be able to work towards raising the required budget so that we can be able to move this from text to actions. I thank you.
Another round of applause. Very good, Honourable Minister. Thank you very much. I retain that this is one of the very first strategy that is agri-food centric. This is a very important, very, very important. And despite the challenges that he alluded to, from complexity of the sector, ranging from productivity, market access, access to finance, we feel very comforted, Honourable Minister. We feel very blessed, and we feel very consoled. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Allow me to invite the next speaker, Madam Osa. Thank you.
Honourable Ministers, Permanent Secretary, partners, welcome everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to see that so many of you have been able to join us in this very exciting and long-anticipated launch of the PSTA 5. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Osa Gertz. I'm a senior agriculture economist at the World Bank office just down the street. And on behalf of the World Bank, I co-chair the Agriculture Sector Working Group. So it's been an interesting year with the preparation of the PSTA 5. I think we have learned a lot from stakeholders and partners, not the least at the multifaceted and very inspiring event that took place here about a year ago. I think we can all appreciate the tremendous work undertaken by Minagri in developing this strategy. It's been truly impressive. Also impressive are the ambitious targets of the PSTA 5, and I think the Honourable Minister just went through them, so I'm not going to repeat them. But they are really set at a high level, and so we have a lot to aspire to. But for the PSTA 5 to even have a chance to be successful, all actors in the sector will have to participate and contribute. As the Honourable Minister said, the government alone will not be able to drive the required on- and off-farm investments and demand for inputs and outputs in the sector through only supply-side interventions. In fact, we see through our own projects that farmers are much more incentivized to invest in their farms when they have access to organized markets and receive good revenues for their outputs and their produce than when the on-farm investments are provided to them with the hope that they will continue to invest in productivity-enhancing inputs and mechanizations just by themselves after. However, for good outcomes in the sector, participation is also needed in the policy process. Those of us who develop investments and regulations need information and ideas from a diverse set of actors in the sector. Any work that we do at the World Bank, for example, whether at a project or a policy analysis, goes through rigorous consultations and are only strengthened by our review processes. It sometimes is a lot more time-consuming, but I know from personal experience that ultimately the end product always comes out better, stronger. This is why we, together with Minagri, are proposing a more participatory process for the forward-looking and backward-looking joint sector reviews, and also for studies and policy development. I think all of you received the TORs that were circulated, and I hope that you had a chance to look at the proposed structures and roles and processes in the TORs. We also presented it, in fact, at the high-level Agriculture Sector Working Group meeting back in June, for those of you who were there. So this new process engages the Agriculture Sector Working Group already at the start of the planning process or initiation of regulatory work, and utilizes the subsector working groups, what we formerly used to refer to as clusters, as forums for strategic discussions, but also for obtaining information and on implementation and results on the ground and in the field. The latter will be really important for the success of the PSTA 5. I think many of us, looking at the results, are a bit surprised about the shortfall of achieving certain targets under the PSTA 4, including that of yields. And so better understanding of the whys and what drives investments and yield increases, etc., from the field will be a really important component in developing the coming year's programs. So as a next step, we also recommend strengthening the joint sector review reporting format to better capture the underlying causes for the different results that we see, so that programs can be adapted accordingly. Important will be to take past year's experience into account while not losing sight of the new structure of the PSTA 5, which expands, of course, the traditional agriculture sector into a more food systems approach. This might also mean including new stakeholders in the conversation, like market, retail, food services, and consumer representatives, to ensure that the next year's prioritized areas fully capture the much-needed food systems investments and activities. So we know, and we received some feedback from you, that Minecofin is also in the process of developing a more formal process for the sector working groups in support of the NST2, and thus we see the TUR as sort of a living document that will be adapted to incorporate any forthcoming recommendations from Minecofin. So again, we're really happy to be part of this very important strategy and to be partner of Minagri and of all of you in implementing the PSTA 5. We hope that all of you are as excited as we are about the next phase in the agriculture sector, and that you are eager to participate and contribute. In fact, the more of us that participate, the more it will benefit us all. So thank you very much again, and we look forward to the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Osso. And thank you for reiterating your partnership towards the implementation of this PSTA 5. It is indeed an honor to have the World Bank as among the key partners, and definitely with all great people here present. Well, Honourable Ministers, allow me to invite DG Chantal to tell us briefly about why we are here. As she gets ready to come in, allow me to briefly introduce her. Many people may not know her. Dr. Chantal is among the generals in the Ministry of Agriculture. She has been one of the front line in the journey and the preparations of this PSTA 5. I know this has been an elusive journey at the beginning, but it gets more clear and obvious as we move forward. So I thank you, everyone, to have supported our General, Dr. Chantal. So, and I would really wish to invite you to listen to her. I'm told there are people who don't know what is PSTA, the full word, but they will learn to know what it is all about. Very complicated strategy, but very clear strategy. So I invite everyone to just listen and learn from her. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, moderator. I did not expect this introduction. I'm really humbled. Thank you. Then on PSTA is actually an abbreviation in French, Strategic Plan for Agricultural Transformation. That is in English. But in French, c'est le Plan stratégique pour la transformation agricole. Je pense que j'ai bien dit. Okay? Honorable Ministers, here present, distinguished guests, Chair and Co-Chair of the Agriculture Sector Action Group, esteemed members of the Agriculture Sector Action Group, It's a great honor to me presenting today, a day that marks the last joint sector review of the NST1 and PSTA 4 era. A day that also marks the official launch of the PSTA 5, a new chapter in our journey to agri-food systems transformation. I'm really grateful I'm given this opportunity to briefly present to you. My presentation has two parts. I will have to briefly talk about achievements under the NST1 PSTA 4 era. I will also talk about the plans we have ahead for the next 5 years under NST2 strategy. Then, at the end of my presentation, I will present some requests. You are familiar with this. Whenever we have this type of gathering, we present to you requests, and in advance, I thank you that will grant us what we are to request you. So, part one, it's about key achievements. Of course, I know that you are all aware that we have a number of indicators. There are many. But we decide to only pick a few here. Key achievements under NST1 and PSTA 4. Next, please. The first category of indicators I wanted to present here is on land husbandry management and irrigation. Irrigation is a key component in NST2. Actually, we are planning to expand area under irrigation by 85% in the next 5 years, and yet, even with that, we only achieve 15% of the irrigable land we have. So it's a very big component, and we invite everyone to invest and think about investing in this particular component. So, land husbandry management and irrigation. We here talk about radical terraces to combat erosion, and progressive terraces to take care of our land. The achievements I'm presenting here, because these indicators by their nature are cumulative, they are only the achievement by 23-24, the end line of NST1 and PSTA 4 for the sector. On radical terraces, we achieved 99.8% of what we planned for the end of PSTA 4. And for progressive terraces, we achieved above 100%, reaching around 1 million hectares under progressive terraces. For irrigation, we achieved 71%, considering the target we had for 23-24. We only got to reach 72,913 hectares under irrigation, and we still have a gap. You can notice that. So we only achieved 71%. That's why I'm insisting that we need to invest a lot in this particular component. Area of consolidated land. You know that we have this program to offset the constraints we have of small land holding. And we promote putting land together under what we call land consolidation program. So with this one, we only achieved 82%. We wanted to achieve 100%, but we didn't manage. So in the next 5 years, we want to put more effort in this particular one with special initiatives as already presented by Honorable Minister. Next. We had another very important indicator, improved seeds and fertilizer. This is about some key inputs we need in agriculture production. So we wanted our smallholder farmers, large-scale farmers, to use modern and improved seeds. And we noted that we managed to achieve, especially on consolidated sites. When we talk about consolidated sites, in the NISR system, they call them large-scale farmers. So we achieved above 100%, and 16% of achievement in terms of using quality seeds on those specific sites. But we have also recorded a significant increase in quality seed use among smallholder farmers, though we are still at a very low rate. Quantity of fertilizer applied, 96% was achieved. That means we wanted to at least reach 72%, I mean 75 kgs per hectare, and we reached 72 kgs per hectare. And in the NST2, if you have seen the document that is already out, we are targeting around 80, 90 something. It's already being presented here. So this is a gap we have, and among the factors that are affecting productivity, as the co-chair presented, one of the key factors we have here is the low use of modern and improved inputs in agriculture, fertilizer among others. Next, on animal products, we have some key products: milk, meat, and eggs. On milk, we achieved around 86% of what we planned by end of PSTA 4. Meat, we achieved 96%. Eggs, we overachieved 104% of achievement in terms of the amount, the quantities produced in that particular year. Next. Then, talking about what we have managed to achieve, I wanted also to share with you what we have managed to, how we have managed to perform in terms of using the budget received. We received around 192 billion from the government, and we managed to use around 168 billion. You will see that we only managed to execute 88% of the budget received. But here we have a justification. Actually, this was due to some project that came a bit late when we are already implementing the fiscal year, so it affected the budget execution. On sector priorities, you know that we have these two documents, the NST2 and PSTA 5, that is to be launched today. But this presentation, as per Minecofin's guidelines, we are to only mainly focus on the sector priorities for the next fiscal year, 2025-2026. And you will see that this, next please, I'm sorry, I have to apologize, this IT is not moving with me, please. So priorities, you will note that we try to focus on 2025-2026 fiscal year, but they are all aligned with the NST2, because now starting with this current fiscal year, actually, we are implementing NST2, and at the same time PSTA 5 at the sector level. So we have 5 priorities for the next fiscal year. We have to increase productivity of priority crops. I'll talk about them in the next slides. We increase production and productivity. We increase production and productivity of animal resources. We will strengthen post-harvest handling and management to reduce post-harvest losses. The target is to reach at least 5% of post-harvest losses. That is by the end of NST2, PSTA 5. We are also targeting to increase participation of private sector. So we will create environment that attract investment in the agriculture sector, but also increase credit to agriculture sector. We will also boost agriculture exports. Then for part 2, where we talk about the plans, I will briefly talk about the NST2 targets for the sector, then give an overview of PSTA 5. On NST2 agriculture targets, we have 5 outcomes. We have an outcome on modernized crop production and productivity. So here we have a number of indicators. I won't read all of them, but we have productivity, to increase productivity by 50% on the priority crops we have. And the priority crops we have are beans, rice, Irish potato, wheat, soybean, cassava, cooking banana, and others. Actually, the table was a bit small. And then we have to increase area under irrigation. We have to increase area under terraces. We have to increase quantity of fertilizers applied per hectare by, there is a mistake here, sorry, I have to apologize. This target is not, no, this is for the next fiscal year, not the end line. Let's not be confused. So we have also to increase access to improved seeds among large-scale farmers and small-scale farmers. Then increase coverage of agriculture extension services. For the next five years, we have more ambitious target, but for the next fiscal year, for example, for the coverage of agriculture extension services, we are targeting to reach 56% of our farmers to access extension. Currently, we are at 35% only. So you can understand the efforts we need to invest in this. Next. The second outcome is on market linkages, strengthening market linkages and post-harvest infrastructure. And we want to make sure we reduce post-harvest losses gradually, if I can say, because by the end line we are targeting to reach at least 5%, but next year we want to move from 13.8% to 10.2%. We have an outcome on modernized animal resource production and productivity. We want to increase milk production, the production of meat, production of fish, production of eggs. Then we have another outcome on agriculture de-risking for resilience. We will scale up our national agriculture insurance scheme for livestock and crops, at the same time trying to have more farmers becoming resilient to climate change. Here I have to highlight that the NST2, but also the PSTA 5 are all oriented to building resilience to climate change. Actually, PSTA 5 is about building resilient and sustainable agri-food systems. So we want to increase number of farmers insured or participating in this particular scheme. Again, under the risking agriculture, the percentage of loan that is going to agriculture is to be increased from 6% to 9%. That is for the next fiscal year. Then boosting agriculture export, we have planned to increase area under export crops, then to rejuvenate our aging coffee trees. Next. Now, I wanted to start with these indicators that are already in NST2, and we have to deliver on them. But with PSTA 5, of course, we considered the NST2 indicators, but we also considered other different factors, especially those that are related to the sector directly. So some of the considerations we had when developing PSTA 5 are first, the lesson learned during PSTA 4 implementation. One is the shocks we had, climate change related shocks. Those are drought mainly, floods, landslides, and you have noted that they are continuing to affect agriculture production and productivity year by year. So as we drafted the document, we took into consideration that climate change is still a challenge, and we have to make sure what we propose as interventions are addressing the shocks and the effect of climate change. We have appreciated the government's contribution, partners investment, private sector investment in supporting the sector to building climate resilience, but the gap is still significant. We also noted that agriculture infrastructure, though significant investment have been made, but we noted that we need more investment in infrastructure, especially those that are related to research and the market. Next. Another lesson learned from PSTA 4 implementation, I have already briefly introduced it, is the low adoption rate of agriculture technologies and vulnerability to climate change. We noted that adoption of modern technologies, including improved input and breeds, is still low, and it's affecting productivity. So we need to invest in their production, and we need to invest in technology transfer and increase access to and utilization of weather and climate information. Another lesson that we considered is that PSTA 4 has got some funding, actually significant funding, but we noted deficits. I want to highlight here that the report we have, or the consideration we are talking about here for PSTA 5 financing are mainly those noted during the first 3 years of PSTA 4 implementation. So we noted a deficit of 18.5% in terms of budget, and what we are expecting the partners, government to invest in PSTA 4 implementation. So there is a need to increase funding with a special consideration to the current reality. Current reality here is the climate change is already mentioned, but also the new approach of the PSTA 5, because we are now moving to Agri-Food systems approach. The previous version of PSTA 4, PSTAs were mainly focusing on production and value chain development, but with the new approach now we are thinking holistically, and we are conscious, we are mindful that we need more investment, more partnership, and stronger coordination mechanisms. So as we think about financing the PSTA, implementation, we need to think about the approach that has already shifted to food systems. Then another consideration of the challenges that we try to categorize into 3 groups. Low investment in agriculture, that is leading to low productivity, low production, and low income. And here I want to also highlight that what we invest in agriculture this year is what we will invest in agriculture next year. So it's a circle, and we have to keep in mind that as we support different actors in the agri-food systems. Then we have another category of challenge, that's a low affordability and awareness of a nutritious diet that is leading to food insecurity in some places, and food malnutrition problem that is still a problem, a challenge in the country. We'll come to that. I want to highlight again here that when we categorize these different challenges, we are thinking beyond production. We are seeing already the food systems as it is currently. So we had to think about production, investment. We had to think about income. It's already on the trade side. We had to think about nutrition and the effect of this low affordability to nutritious diet. We also had to think about the climate change, that is the environment under which we are operating. And these challenges are all causing suboptimal production in the country, and consequently incomes remaining low, and then as a circle, this leading to low farm investment in technologies, poor diets, and leading again to few rural jobs. So when drafting this document, PSTA 5, we thought about those different challenges. We considered the vision of the country, the Rwanda Vision 2050, that is considering agriculture as a source of wealth, inclusive wealth. Actual agriculture is one of the pillars of the Rwanda's vision. We are the third pillar, inclusive wealth creation. So we had to think about that vision, the vision the country has for the sector, but also we had to consider NST2. And our vision now as a sector is to make sure Rwanda achieves food security and achieves improved nutrition health and sustainable agricultural growth driven by a productive, resilient, and market-oriented agriculture sector. We have a mission to ensure the food and nutrition security of Rwandans by leveraging modern production and agribusiness while professionalizing farmers to enhance production, commercialization, and competitiveness. Next. By the implementation of PSTA 5, we are already having in mind and on paper what we want to achieve as an impact. What is the expected impact of implementing PSTA 5? Next, please, impact of PSTA 5 implementation. We have, as you have seen, the NST2. We have to make sure agriculture grows over 6% annually. Actually, it's in the NST2, it's 6.5% average. We have to make sure the sectors is growing as the country is expecting us to do it. And you will see that our baseline is 1.72. So we have a lot to invest. We have a long way to go. And I used to tell my colleagues that it's like now in the next 5 years we have to work as we stand. Like dukora nk'abahagaze. It will be like we'll be working day and night because the targets are really ambitious. But the good thing is we are all convinced that we have sufficient resources to achieve this. So we are targeting to achieve more than 6% annually of growth in agriculture. Agriculture export will increase from $875 million to $1.5 billion US. We want to empower women in agriculture. Women in agriculture with adequate empowerment. We are now at 72%, and we want to reach 100%. Already with 72%, we are the best in the region with the study we did with the IFPRI. But when we consider internally, when we compare men and women in agriculture here in Rwanda, we noted that we still have gaps. So it's important that we reach 100% of women empowerment in the sector. We are planning to contribute to job creation in this country, and we targeted to increase to 644,000 of jobs to be created by the end of this strategy, from 400,000 in the agri-food systems here. Then on nutrition, we have currently a number of households that are food insecure. So we want to achieve more households being food secure. I'm seeing a mistake somewhere here. The baseline is 79.6% of households that are food secure. And we want to achieve 88% at least. And here we had to be realistic, considering the only 5 years and also based on the modeling and the previous achievement we had on this particular indicator. So we are shifting from 79.6% to 88% of food secure household. On stunting, this indicator is not really direct in our portfolio, but we are contributing, we are expected to contribute significantly to the target of shifting, dropping from 32.4% of stunting rate to 15%. And we are committed to this. We are already We have already started some discussions, and we are making some contributions already around this. We have a target, again, at the outcome impact level, a target on dietary diversity score. This is the number of meal, the type of food people are putting on their plates every time they eat. So currently we are at 5.5 dietary diversity score per day. Then we want to achieve at least 8%. This will also require us to invest a lot in diversification of our crops and agriculture products. Food self-sufficiency ratio, we want to achieve 100%. We are now at 79.6%. This is mainly about the nutrients we are producing compared to the population and the growth we'll be having by the end of PSTA 5. So we want by 2029 to be able to have 100% compared to the nutrients we are producing now and the nutrients that is being consumed currently. Next. So on priority areas, I don't really think I have to give details because most of them have already, all of them actually have been already mentioned by my Honorable Minister. I will only go through them quickly. We have 3 priority areas. We have priority area 1 on modernization of agriculture and animal resources production for climate resilient agri-food systems. You'll bear with us, the title is really lengthy, but we did it deliberately. We wanted to make sure the keywords we wanted in this document are visible from the title, making sure everyone is getting the clear information that we want to build climate resilient agri-food systems in Rwanda. So priority area 1 is about this. We will make sure we increase crop production and productivity, and the key outputs are the new agricultural land management and production model. We promote urban farming and peri-urban farming. Now we have sustainable land and water management. We have plant health management. We have mechanization, modern inputs, and labor-saving technologies. These are not the only outputs we have. I only picked few for the purpose of this presentation, but you find more in the document. We have a component here under this priority area on modernized animal resources, production and productivity. And here we focus on improving animal husbandry, modern infrastructure in animal resources hubs. We'll build sustainable animal breeding programs and also increase access to animal feeds. We invest in animal health systems. We also invest in fisheries and aquaculture development, but also in beekeeping development. I wanted to show the estimated budget here for this particular component. Next. Yes, it's there already. The total budget for this component is 2.7, around 2.8 billion of US dollars. And in Rwandan francs, actually it's in trillion. Around 3.57 trillion of Rwandan francs is needed in the next 5 years for this particular priority area. And this component is the biggest one we have in terms of budget, because it covers 60% of the estimated budget for PSTA 5. The main reason is that we have all the investments for irrigation and for this different infrastructure for animal production counted here. Next. Priority area 2 is inclusive markets and post-harvest management for sustainable agri-food systems. We have agriculture export promotion, and this particular one. We have market linkages and post-harvest infrastructure. We have food and nutrition access and stability. And here we estimated a budget that is equaling 0.8 billion of US dollars and around 1 trillion of Rwandan francs. Major outputs, for example, for the food and nutrition access and stability are mainly to increase access to nutritious food and to make sure food stability is ensured, because there's no food security if we don't have stability of food availability and access. For the second component of this priority, we mainly focus on post-harvest infrastructure to reduce losses, but also on food safety and quality and improving trade infrastructure. Next. Priority area 3 is on enablers. Strengthening agri-food systems enablers for effective and efficient delivery. We have 4 components under this one. We have research and technology transfer for agri-food systems transformation, where we'll be focusing on demand-driven research. We also focus on customizing and developing customized agriculture extension, making sure it's implemented. We have it already, but we noted that we need to upgrade it a bit to make sure it accommodates the new approach we have, the approach of agri-food systems. So customized and comprehensive extension services, we invest in this particular one. Then we will increase affordability of digital technologies for agriculture. Then invest in digital innovation in agriculture value chains, digital competence development, and also develop some sustainable business models for digital systems and platform. Next. Another very important component under this priority area is de-risking agriculture for increased resilience. And here we focus on 2 things, access to formal agriculture finance and the National Agriculture Insurance Scheme to be scaled up. The last component here is agri-food systems planning and coordination to drive transformation. Here we capacitate our staff for planning and knowledge management, agri-food system coordination and value chain development. We make efforts in this because we know that we cannot really deliver on the vision of this strategy without strong collaboration and well-structured coordination mechanism. So we invest in this. Then institutional reforms for effective implementation. An estimated budget here is around 1.1 billion US dollars, and we have 1.4 trillion US dollars to be invested in this priority area 3, and this represents 23% of the total budget. Just a summary of the total budget we estimated for the implementation of PSTA 5. Here I want to also highlight that it includes the contingencies we have. And we total is for the Rwandan francs, it's actually 6.6 trillion or 6,623 billion Rwandan francs. And in US dollars, it's 5.2 billion of US dollars. So, and as already mentioned by Honorable Minister, we are expecting the private sector to play a significant role, and we expect that they contribute in the implementation of this. They contribute around 44% of this estimated budget. We have cross-cutting themes. We have climate change, we have youth employment, we have gender mainstreaming, leveraging the private sector, improved nutrition, farmers' inclusion, digitalization, capacity building, and adaptive management in implementation. So, last slide, it's our requests. We request that you provide us feedback. We have to reflect on the achievement we had together, feedback on what we have managed to achieve together, as I said, but also on the plans. We have gone a long journey developing this strategy, not only this one, but also NST2. I'm delighted to note that the Minecofin is represented here. We have been together in this, but still we are still open for any feedback, any contribution in terms of how we can improve, how we can move together. So we are open, and we request that you provide feedback on our presentation. Second is that you approve the priorities, especially for this fiscal year to come, 2025, 2026. Then we request that you endorse the PSTA 5 and also support throughout its implementation. I thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Chantal. I think we've learned a lot. We've heard, we've seen. I like the song of trillions. This trillions is really sounding super. And thank you very much, Chantal. I think there's no doubt this is a super ingredient for the country's economic transformational drivers. It is at the same time a security for our food and nutritious foods and products. I wish to reaffirm that it is clear that this is another visionary commitment and testimony for our country's commitment to deliver and efficiency. So, Honourable Ministers, I wish to take this moment, if you allow me, to receive feedbacks, recommendations, your feelings, as Dr. Chantal is taking a sip of water or coffee to quench herself. So I wish to invite my colleagues, get a mics, and help me to give to whoever would like to share and comment. We are very open. We are very honored to be in the same room having DGs from RAB, CEO from NAEB, and our colleagues that have actively participated in development of this PSTA 5. And I wish to invite them as well to provide feedback as our invited guests have any questions or any observation. You're most welcome. You have been very quiet this time now we are allowed to make some noise, please. But I want to make sure we are still together. Are we together? Are you sure? Do you have coffee? Do you need more? We can get. The first 3 questions, they will get more coffee. The rest, if you like coffee, you better go the first. Please, welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Leon Fidel Mugisha. I'm from Food for the Hungry. Well, mine is going to be a question, and I would like to express gratitude to Dr. Chantal for the impressive and very interesting presentation. Well, our generation is currently experiencing a new revolution with the artificial intelligence transforming various sectors. I would like to know, in the context of this PSTA 5, how we are prepared to leverage on AI in a bid to enhance resource optimization and decision making. And furthermore, what are going to be strategies to adopt to ensure that artificial intelligence-driven innovation are inclusive and accessible, especially to smallholder farmers? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You mentioned your food for the hungry or the angry? Oh, okay. I'm happy now. Thank you. The next, please. Who's the next speaker? So you deserve coffee. So the next speaker, yes, please. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm Tadetwa Ilimala from Ministry of Environment, Acting Director General Environment and Climate Change. I have only 2 comments. One was spoken by my colleague. related to how, when we are talking about the increase of production and the productivity, we have to think.
Go ahead. It's working. Yes.
Okay, thank you. The production can be increased when we consider different factors, because we are dealing with the climate change impact, and we cannot stop those impacts, but we can mitigate and adapt to the different impacts, including droughts, landslide, and so on. So how can we introduce the Internet of Things and AI to make sure that if our lands, our soils dry, our farmers be informed that the irrigation activities are ready, and make sure that people are aware of how to utilize those technological tools by using their phones, by using other tools at their homes. So this one was highlighted, but this also, we can link the utilization of technology to the market, of course, costs, to see if our farmers will benefit from those current tools. The other one is related to, we see our cities, our villages have a lot of gardens, and yet we see some plants there in the gardens, but how can we promote urban farming or households farming, let's say, to see if our households, our gardens have, for example, the fruits, fruit trees, and even vegetables in our gardens, in our cities, to increase the food production in our homes. So I think this is another suggestion that I would like to highlight. Instead of having many trees, how can we think to replace them by fruit trees to increase also the food quality, and even to reduce malnutrition in our households? So how this will be achieved, yet we do have a big budget to implement these strategic objectives, but we need interconnectedness, collaboration among either government institutions, private sectors, civil society organizations, NGOs, in terms of technical support, knowledge sharing, and even experience sharing. And also, even we have to think how each institutions we can enhance resource sharing, because you see that we need a high budget, but some of institutions have, and how to think, if possible, to share our resources equitably in order to continue working together for the implementation and achievement of strategic objectives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm very sure if the Minister of Environment give us a go-ahead, all the eucalyptus will be changed to avocados under our ministries. So let's hear from the third speaker, please. Thank you. The third speaker. Can we hear a voice from a lady, please? No, you're not a lady. We are looking for a lady.
I'm coming from the Minister of Gender.
Oh, now you are loud. Oh, super. I knew that. Very good.
Thank you. I'm Silas Ngayabosha, and serve as the DG of Gender Mainstreaming and Women Empowerment. I would love to hear from Dr. Chantal how this PSTA will be mainstreaming gender and how it will be empowering women. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, that's a very straight, good question. Well, I would wish to invite CDO Martin to react on the AI question. That's very interesting. This is all related to technology. I think she's better posed to do that. And at the same time, DG Rab to give feedback on the second question. And finally, we hear from DG Chantal for the last question. Martin, you can start.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I think from the two gentlemen that asked on AI and digitalization and how we can link all our farmers having information. So that's why we actually have one pillar. One of the, in the pillars that we have, the digitalization of the sector, because one of the things we're doing is, for example, if I give an activity that we are working on as we speak, is we're developing an AI chatbot that the farmers can actually now get, some projects that we have in the pipeline in line with projects that we have in the pipeline in line with, the emerging technologies that we have that include IoT and artificial intelligence. So be with us on the journey, and we hope that, we get to use all these emerging tech to advance our farmers' access to information that they would need to do more smart agriculture. Thank you.
Great. DG, mic to the DG, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Teresfore Ndabamenye, the Director General of Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resource Development Board. And thank you for bringing the question of our production systems toward climate-related challenges. As we talk about building a resilient and sustainable agri-food system, that is all about climate-smart agriculture systems. And in Rwanda, as everyone knows, we are very lucky a bit to have a chance of not being hit by climate change, but we are not out of the ecosystems. So when we talk about the investment in irrigation, we have different types of irrigation, mostly for the areas that are prone to drought. Then when we talk to the land transformation, landscape transformation, those are climate smart practices that are helping us to protect our soils, at the same time increase the productivity. So I think all of those considerations have been taken into account when we go to the shift from the poor production systems to the agri-food systems productions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, DG. Chantal, for the last feedback.
Thank you, DG Silas, for your very good question. Actually, I'm personally a pro-women empowerment person, so I'll be very comfortable responding to you. Yes, we, in our strategy, as I presented, we considered gender mainstreaming as a very important priority. Actually, it's a cross-cutting priority. That means in all our interventions, we have to consider gender mainstreaming. And here I wanted to specifically talk about the women and girls empowerment. We are targeting to reach 100% from 72%. And the interventions formulated during the PSTA 5 development were done based on the situational assessment. We did some focus group discussions, we did some literature review, and we came up with 3 constraints women and girls are facing in the agriculture sector. One is access to agricultural finance, access to capital, the financial capital. Second is limited technical knowledge. And third is limited control over agriculture income. So we tried in some of the interventions, we have been deliberate and targeted those 3 specific challenges they are facing. On access to finances, we suggest in the strategy that our projects on grants and matching grants, for example, have to make sure we target women and girls. At least 30% of the beneficiaries to those projects will be women and girls. But we are not only talking about women and girls. Actually, youth is another category we are about considering. We have planned to consider in the strategy. On limited technical skills, again, we use the same approach, making sure the beneficiaries of our training, beneficiaries of our technologies, what we are about to transfer to them, at least 30% are coming from that category of our actors in the agri-food systems. They have to benefit, make sure to be, we are deliberate in our interventions in capacitating them. On control of agricultural income, we have already started actually with the implementation of this PSTA. We are capacitating our farmers because we have noted that within household, sometimes it's really very difficult for women to access agricultural income, and yet they are contributing significantly in the field. They are supplying labor to their farms. And in the long term, I don't think it can be sustainable keeping them in that situation. So we have already started capacitating households. We have a program. Actually, it's not a program, but it's a module we are trying to upgrade on capacitating our farmers, teaching them to farm as a family business. Some colleagues who are present here from the EU, they know that particular module. It's part of our customized agriculture extension module we have. We started training both husbands and wives on how they have to manage their farms as a family business, not as a husband's business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are going to take additional comments. There is a question regarding the fruit trees. So probably, DJ Patrick, you want to comment? Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, moderator. There was a question about the fruits. We have got two streams when it comes to the promotion of fruit, increasing the fruit production in the country. There is a stream for fighting malnutrition, and there's a stream for commercial farming. For fighting malnutrition, we are going to emphasize and put more efforts into the 5 Fruit Trees program that you have heard about in the past few weeks that we launched with this season, where we aim to have at least 5 fruit trees, diversified different types of fruits per household. But that alone is not enough. We are going to deliberately put much effort into promoting large-scale fruit production in the next 5 years, with special emphasis on the avocado. The global avocado market is around 20 billion. It's a big market out there. So we will mostly attract investment and facilitate investment into large-scale production of avocados and other fruits and vegetables as well. For the 5 fruit trees, we're going to especially put emphasis into the districts that have highest levels of malnutrition, especially that part of the western region where we have highest levels, but also in other districts. The stakeholders' engagement and participation and collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture will be of paramount importance. It's not the ministry which is going to plant the trees, so it is in partnership, the ministry will facilitate and encourage, but also support wherever with the resources that we have through different streams. I hope that helps to understand.
Thank you. That's great. We are almost looking at the time, and allow me to speed it up a bit, and I would invite the last 3 burning feedback, and then we move to the next session. It's a very interesting one. So I would really wish to give the time it deserves to discuss about commitment. Right? Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Makuza Richard from WFP. It was really very formative presentations. I'll go straight to my question. We all got it clear that we are going to use a food systems approach, and it's clear that different ministries and agencies will be involved: Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, IT infrastructure. What's the thinking of how this coordination is going to be managed to really have all the different agencies active? Because what I've seen is, it's still Ministry of Agriculture doing the heavy lifting, but what is the vision, what is the plan of making sure that the coordination is in the food systems is effective?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's hear from Madame Touré. The mic here, the high table, please. Yes. You first here, please.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Actually, I want to build on what the gentleman has said, because to me, priority 3, which is the enabling environment, I don't know if they were set by priorities, but for me, this is number 1.
Okay.
Because we all agree that we're doing business differently, right? In the context of a food system, moving from, only focused to integrate in other sectors. And I think this is where we need to start from. I'm glad that we have ministers here. Unless we get that one right, priority 1 and 2 will not have the impact that we're looking for. So I think we need to spend time, and I really like right from the beginning, this has been said, different approach, integration, but how do we do it? Let's start to, think through really in detail, because if that is right, the 2 other priorities will be easier to implement with the expected results. Thank you.
Makes sense. Appreciate it. So let's hear from Michelle from EU, please.
Yeah, thank you. Michela Tomasella, European Union delegation. Thanks. I would like to congratulate really Minagri for this impressive work, because it's one of the only, I think, ministers that start the work on the sector policy even before the NST2. So we were involved since the beginning as the European Union in supporting and in the work, in the impressive work that has been done for PSTA 5. And I think now this was the document that indeed instructs the NST2, and now it's not only a tool for implementation, but also the main strategies there to define all NST2 in the sector. So congratulations for this way of working and already preempt the work under NST2. Second thing, as when we talk about commitment, clearly as European Union we are there with many instruments, budget support, Chiesa project, the Kigali Wholesale Market, that for us is a flagship and is really in line. I feel it is in line with priority 2 that DG Saltar mentioned about the need to increase inclusive markets and post-harvest system. So I think it can become, and is already indicated as a flagship for the government too. My question, or my comment, is most only on the fact that I fully agree and I fully support the government in the identifying need to improve production. One of the way that has been mentioned is also the irrigation system, so fully agree with that. But in terms of productivity, we understand, right, the need of increased productivity, and then for also increasing then value chain development. And I would like to hear a little bit more there on avocado just mentioned by DG Patrick, but on the other priority that the government see in agriculture sector. As I said, we have a Team Europe project, Chiasa with Enabel on agriculture, so very interesting already to have some pre-information on which are the priority there, because we do not see only as European Union, we do not see only the increase of productivity as main objective, but really the value chain development that come first with the increase of productivity and then in transforming all goods. So yeah, I would say that is important element. Then on the investment side for agriculture sector, again, I think we have different tools to think about. All the partners have different tools, from guarantee to opening credit line, and we also have to reflect together on how to make more accessible for farmer and for small farmer. Thank you.
Great. Let's quickly get feedback from the audience. When it comes to how do we bring people to work together on a system approach, I would wish to invite CTA. Could you give a reflection on that? Sorry? Yeah, they're bringing. Okay. The first, a very important question, which was echoed by Madam Ms. Toure, it's about how do we make sure we bring everybody on board in an agri-food system approach. So it was important also to mention this is a critically high priority to make other pillars working effectively. Could you please give a reflection on that?
Thank you very much. It's a very smart question. The Minister of Agriculture being the convener of the food systems approach, and the CTA being the contact person. So the first thing is to ensure this mic is weak. Yeah. So proper coordination to go straight forward. With AGRA, we are establishing at the ministry a food system coordination unity, while also we are looking at a food system delivery unity, so that we can be result oriented. So to be a bit clear, food systems is a new approach, a new philosophy. So that means we don't have to think about productivity alone. We have also to think about resilience practices, resilience seed, but also we need to think about food safety and nutritious food. So for example, when we talk about beans, for example, we don't have to focus on the source of protein, but we have also to think about biofortifying beans to be also a source of zinc and iron, to name a few among other minerals. So therefore, coordination, that will be the easy way to bring people to work together in terms of knowledge, in terms of technical assistance, in terms of research, in terms of funding, in terms of driving that new philosophy. That's what I can say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I also wish to complement that in his speech, the Honourable Minister, it's a call to everyone to work hands in hands, otherwise we won't achieve. We can't reach this milestone until we work together. And this is an opportunity as we gather here to everybody understand from where they're coming from the current practices and approach, that until they are united, until we are working together, we cannot deliver to this common goal. So this is very important. I wish to invite CEO Naeb to reflect on Mikhail's comment, specifically on the horticulture value chain, specific with avocado, the value chain, how importantly this shall be addressed within the coming 4 years under this strategy. Welcome, CEO.
Thank you very much. We're here talking about value chains. and food systems. And as we know, food systems are made up of not only activities but also actors involved not only in the production, processing, distribution, and consumption, but we also include the trade part of it. Trade, that's where we come in as National Agriculture Export Development Board when we're looking at the entire value chain for us to be able to get to the international market. So we look at what the market requires, being standards, being requirements, being regulations, and we go back and we look at the value chain right from, as it was explained, from the seed, from the land preparation, from pesticides, from all the inputs that are utilized, to land preparations, to processing, to making sure that along the way we have that kind of comprehensive vision on how we can have some of products meet the requirements. And this is also applicable to domestic market. I'm not really talking about us being able or keen to support meeting international standards, but we also have to meet national standards as far as food consumption is concerned. So food systems that we're talking about here is the entire value chain. We talked about production, productivity, but also processing, distribution, consumption, and disposal of food. So that's the response. But you mentioned about Kigali Wholesale Market, and that is going to be a kind of flagship program for us to make sure that we have that kind of harmonized vision when it comes to food systems. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I hope you still have the energy to go for the last discussion, isn't it? Today is Friday. So I humbly request everyone to give the best of his energy now so that we can relax later once we are done. We are almost there. Allow me to introduce to you, we're going to have a few speakers just to give a reflection in this particular journey. You know, our economy is private-driven economy. That's why we will call upon the PSF CEO to give, and he will be followed by one of our energy of the country is our youth. We'll be hearing from the chairperson, from RIAF, and other important partners, CNFA and AGRA representative. And at the end of the day, we shall also hear from our Ministry of Finance. We can't talk of trillions, and when this is clearly, it's not under any other ministry, it keeps coming. Geoffrey, am I right? Yeah. So allow me to give them a few slots, and allow me not to come back every time someone is going to speak. So once the first speaker is done, kindly the second goes. Let's keep, this is a family, right? Let's keep the protocols quite very comforting to everyone. So the PSF, do we have the PSF representative? Okay, as we wait for him, the chairperson from there, please. You're welcome on the floor, please. You are the one? Oh, lady. Another lady. I hope the gender monitoring office here present are very happy. Today we are very inclusive. Thank you. Welcome, madam.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Honorable Ministers, distinguished representatives from the government, estimate development partners, young agri-entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. With great pleasure, I stand before you today as a representative of the vibrant and dynamic youth involved in agriculture from the Wonder Youth in Agribusiness Forum. The launch of PST5 is essential for the agriculture sector and Wonder Youth, who are the center to its transformation. PST5 embodies a bold vision that recognizes young people's critical role in driving innovation, resilience, and sustainability in our agri-food system. We sincerely appreciate the opportunity to contribute to the development of this plan and the recognition of youth as active partners in shaping its success. As Rwandan youth, and as requested, we commit to taking ownership of this strategy and ensure its goals are translated into tangible and concrete outcomes. Specifically, our effort will focus on, number one, innovation and technology. We were born in digital era. We pledge to leverage our creativity and embrace digital and technological solutions to modernize farming practices and increase productivity.
SDGs such as farm service centers, such as post-harvest, such as farm service centers, such as post-harvests.
That the direction of the country and the ministry in particular. The direction of the country and the ministry in particular. Person for CADAP when we were starting, and Rwanda has been a leader in pioneering the continental initiatives, mainly around the CADAP, which is a comprehensive Africa development program. Rwanda was the first to sign the CADAP compact in 2007, before any country on the continent. And since then, Rwanda has consistently been leading the rest of the continent on being on track to achieve the African Union CADAP goals and targets. The goal will be shifting next year, but that's a subject for another discussion. But at least as ASA from World Bank will tell you, Rwanda has been in the last biennial review, been coming top on the continent, making us proud to have an agriculture sector that not only speaks to the country need, but goes to the direction of the continent. And as you may know, the UN General Secretary, the current UN General Secretary, appointed recently, a few years back, the president of AGRA to be his special envoy on food system, with a mandate to mobilize the whole world on food system. And her first challenge was on how food system commitments would reflect at country level. In Africa, AGRA picked 3 countries, and one was in West Africa, it was Ghana, another was in Southern Africa, it was Malawi, and then Rwanda in East Africa. And I'm so happy to say Rwanda now is the first to reveal its food system-centric strategy. I'm sure Agnes is clapping wherever she is for her country to make her proud in that manner. Therefore, there is no way we not commit to make sure this strategy is implemented as designed. And I'll mention, thank you. I'll mention a few areas. One person asked about food system and what does food system-centric strategy means. We are committed as AGRA and working with other institutions like FAO, WFP, and others to make sure that we support the ministry to promote a food system approach that integrates sustainability, nutrition, and equity to benefit all farmers and consumers. Second, AGRA will continue to support the ministry to drive towards a resilient market system by enhancing value chains, improving access to finance, fostering innovation, and ensuring inclusivity for marginalized groups. You have noticed DG Chantal saying that 60% of this strategy is market-driven to make sure before farmers produce, they have a place that their production will go. Third, AGRA will support last-mile delivery to make sure these technologies, these innovation reach farmers. I won't repeat farmer service centers, but you want to make sure there are systems in place to provide essential input, technical support, and market access, boosting productivity and increasing growth in a way that brings income to the smallholder farmer. And fourth, AGRA has committed, and I will repeat what CTA Alexandre mentioned, AGRA has committed
to strengthen the government effort in food system coordination. We have already committed resources to support a food system coordination unit hosted in Minagri, and this will be bolstered by supporting the ministry in food system flagship designs like the Kigali Wholesale Market, Kigali Innovation Hub, and all those others, the legacy program, such as to bring in place a marriage between policy, enabling environment, and private sector investments. We will also promote digitization. DG Martin has mentioned about the use of AI. Honorable Minister, be happy to know that the entire seed production and certification system in Rwanda is fully digitized. We have ongoing an extension system called KAES that will fully digitize access to information to farmers in Rwanda. And we'll continue to promote digital platform for market linkages, precision agriculture, and financial services in order to empower farmers with tools that they need for increased efficiency. We will also prioritize empowering the youth and women. In fact, one of our resource partner, Mastercard Foundation, has mandated us to not only focus on youth, but to go to those youth in the rural area. So the big chunk of our investment when it comes to youth and gender inclusion will not be in the city of Kigali. It will be in those periphery areas to make sure they have access to skills, to entrepreneurship, and resource access to ensure they are playing an active role in this strategy execution. And finally, we will make sure we continue to make Rwanda proud by working with the ministry to put in place a data correction mechanism and a data analysis mechanism so that when next year in January the scorecard change, Rwanda is ready to maintain its position to be a leader in the agriculture transformation on the continent. As I conclude, I really commend the Ministry of Agriculture for its visionary leadership. Thank you, Minister, for really not being a thought partner to AGRA, but a go-to person whenever there is a challenge. And through our strong partnership and shared commitment with our resources, we are committing to not only align with this strategy, but help other peoples in the sector to make sure we are pulling in the same direction. I end my remark by saying that this strategy is a good strategy. It's a complete strategy. I really want to call on all of us to take it as a roadmap so that we avoid diverging but converge in reaching the target, which, as we've seen, they are really huge, audacious, hairy target, including moving from a 2% to a 60% year-to-year growth in agriculture. I thank you for your attention.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Ministers, development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to be part of this launch, and I'm very excited also to be seeing the trillions that that are up on the presentation of Dr. Chantal. I think we really have a lot to do to get to those trillions that are needed. But I think the most important thing is, first of all, to be clear on the plan. And this is what we are here to celebrate today. So my name is Godfrey Kabera, and I'm the head of national planning in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, the head of department for planning. So it's a very, we've been working together with Dr. Chantal and the team the whole time, and it has been a long journey. I think we've been putting a lot of pressure on the team, but I think they have also taken the lead because they did not wait actually for the NST2 to come for them to start working on their strategy on the PSTA 5, but actually they started working on it much earlier, which gave us, which was an opportunity for us as well to inform the NST in time. So we have actually have very strong alignment between the NST2 which was informed also by the PSTA 5. We have strong alignment with the Vision 2050, and we also have strong alignment with the SDGs, which is something that we really commend. So I think congratulations, Honorable Minister, for the strategy. And I'm representing the Minister of Finance here today, so I just want to reiterate the commitment of Minecofin as a key stakeholder in this strategy. And the strategy touches really very important points. Private sector engagement, modernizing the agriculture systems, climate resilience, agri-food systems transformation. And we have all seen over the past couple of years that when the agriculture sector performs well, we actually have very strong results in terms of poverty reduction, in terms of economic growth, exactly because of the impact of the agri-food systems kind of approach that is needed from production all the way to consumption and all the processes that are in between there. So I really want to commend you for the strategy, but also to now take the focus towards implementation. Obviously, we have a lot to do around mobilizing resources, engaging the private sector, farmers in the same approach we have used in elaborating the strategy. We now need to move towards really scaling up the interventions, accelerating them, integrating our plans, and making sure that it doesn't remain a good strategy on paper, but actually gets to be delivered. So I think I'll try, and I hope I was the shortest speaker. I hope I beat the record of the Chief of Party, and I'll stop here so that I don't lose any more seconds. Thank you once again. Yeah.
Thank you very much, all the special speakers. You can stay more as soon as you're talking about commitment. This is the real parts that are very interesting, as you heard about what, and I wish to echo the Honourable Minister, when you look at the total budget, which is just only 5,000 million euros, only that, only. When you look, considering what we expect, I think there is some magic behind. But I see people smiling. That means they wish to give more commitments, but after the meeting, we are going to engage definitely one-on-one so we can keep on record and track all your commitments in kind, in cash, in whatever means. I thank you very much. So allow me to stand here and invite the last speaker of the day. She's a lady, and she also comes from a bank. You're not happy? I think that's a very good ending when it comes to commitment. Madam Aïssa Touré, she's a country manager from FDB and co-chair of development TPCGs. These are what? We are here to learn. These are the partners for a coordination group, and Madame, vous êtes la bienvenue. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Honorable Ministers, distinguished representatives from the government partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, bonjour. It is both an honor and a privilege to address you today as the country manager of African Development Bank and as well as the co-chair of Development Partners Coordination Group. This gathering, as my predecessor have said, marks a significant milestone in Rwanda's agricultural transformation journey, reflecting the visionary leadership and commitment of the country. The shift from food system is the first on the continent, and as an African, as a daughter of this continent, I really wish that other countries will follow the path of Rwanda in this transition to food systems. The launch of the PSTA 5 represents a transformative step in reshaping Rwanda's agriculture sector. I won't repeat what has been said, and I think we all agree on the importance of this shift, starting for the challenges, the global challenges that also Rwanda shares in terms of global food system disruptions, COVID, that we're still feeling the effects, climate change, and in addition for Rwanda, we have the issues of land, and which also add another layer of challenges. But here we are launching a strategy that is bold, that is innovative, and this is the way to go, has a main contribution to NST2. As a banker and coming from African Development Bank, I used to say that money is not the problem. And I do believe that money is not always the problem. And I think that's in the case of PSTA 5, honorable ministers, if we get priority 3 again, well aligned, we'll be able to implement in a very effective way the 2 first priorities. And I think it's very important. If I take my portfolio alone, because of the division of labor, African Development Bank is earmarked to infrastructure. We have a portfolio of $2.2 billion, ministers. And we're in Africa, in agriculture, in infrastructure, sorry, water, sanitation, transport, and energy. And this accounts for $2 billion, thanks to Godfrey, who makes those, Ministry of Finance, we make those division of labor. And if you look at it, to me, those are part of the enabling environment. They should not be seen as, investment on their own, but they should be able to meet a bigger development objective for the country. And though we are not in agriculture, I think that those infrastructures should be designed in such a way that they will impact and will find our place in the coordination, because these are important. Access to road is important because access to markets, energy is very important for agro-processing, and then water also, irrigation. So I think that is really a mindset. How do we design different projects, integrated projects, so that we can all contribute? And I think that Agra have said it. Really on behalf of all development partners here present or in the larger group that is not present here, I want to first commend the government for involving us on the onset of this very exciting journey. But more importantly, we are really standing ready, right, and excited like you to be able to be part of the story, of part of the implementation. We have also our own mechanism of coordination, planning, and we stand ready to be able to be part of this journey, because it's very important. So I just want to leave it there and then to say again, félicitations au gouvernement du Rwanda pour cette avancée significative, en espérant que les autres pays du continent vont pouvoir faire la même chose. Merci, au revoir.
Thank you very much, Madam. We are now, Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests, we are now at the launching time. So we are going to launch, and I would wish to invite colleagues who are assisting us to do a proper launching ceremony, to be kindly closer to me, as I invite Honourable Ministers, Honourable Minister of States, our guests on the same table to kindly come forward. Honourable Minister, the whole table, please, kindly. Madam Touré, Madam Osa, Geoffrey, you can also join. Chantal, kindly join as well. DG Rap and CEO Naeb, kindly join as well. Nyakubahwa PS namwe mwakomeza imbere. Madam Nadine, please come forward. And so who is leading us? I was not instructed what to do. Who can guide me? Minister, ngira ngo ndabara hari gatatu. Ngiye kubara hanyuma nimba mwe muretse gatonya kuba abanyakuba. Ngiye kubara kugira ngo bitaducika. Muramfasha mwese. We are going to count in Kinyarwanda because this is all about Rwanda, right? Yeah, so we are going to start. Rimwe oya ntago turi kujyana. Rimwe kabiri gatatu n'amashyi menshi cyane. Wonderful. Wow. Great. Thank you very much. Wow. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. You may go back to your seats. And Honourable Minister. Yes. Oh, I'm told, Honourable Ministers, ladies, we can have a group photo at the same time, so we don't need to come back. We just hear the last closing remarks while we sit. Also, you can still join. It's okay there. You can also join. Feel free, those who are sitting in front, kindly join as well. We can join, please. The other two, kindly join. No, it's okay. You can have one. Mazima, can you see everyone? Can we add more so we have? Yes, please. You can please join the table. So we do one group photo because time is not on our side. Who wants to be part of the history can jump on the photo. Please. This is a one-time photo. It will never come again. I know people are just relaxing. I think it's enough now. Thank you. Thank you. I can see people are taking the opportunity to relax their legs. It's really, I understand. Thank you. Good, good, good. Thank you. Don't worry, those who remain seated, we are going to take your short photos we're going to add in the picture. So don't worry. The technology is there for us. I think, can you see everyone from here? Bose barimura? Mbwira batarimu guhera he? Umutuku subwo ni? Okay. Thank you very much, great people. Murakoze cyane. Arabura mingo. Even James was here. Sir. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a good time to recognize our partners, starting, of course, from the government of Rwanda, AGRA, Food Organization and Agricultural Organization, United Nations, MasterCard Foundation, the World Bank, European Union, USAID, IFPRI, GAIN, and all of you here present. It's always an honor, and we count on your continued support and assistance. With this, I wish to invite Honourable Minister again. This is your day. This is your day, but as he said, this is not a business of the Ministry of Agriculture alone. This is everyone's business. I wish to invite him once again to give us today our closing remarks. As he moves on, let's give a round of applause so we can to motivate him. Thank you, Minister.
I'll be as brief as I can. So we have to take, I think, to learn lessons by doing backward looking at PSTA 4. We learn from what went well, from the successes, and we take even lessons from where we didn't do as well. And then we take forward and do better. Then PSTA 5 is unique because it's centered on agri-food systems. So that's a center pivot of this PSTA 5. I'm so happy that the development to this point, it was participatory. I was very impressed by the turn-up and the diverse ownership of this PSTA 5. I see all the key actors are represented here today. But one important key actor that I really want to commend, and actually to make them custodians of this PSTA 5, are the youth. I was moved by the questions about Internet of Things, about AI. You'd be amazed with my advanced, age compared to the youth, but I'm seeing the internet age as well. So when you talk about using these tools to move agriculture sector, I can tell you we are together. I see you, for example, in the pillar of productivity, the pillar 1. I'm just using one word, not to bore you. I see it being used, for example, in water use efficiency. For the past so many years, I was in standards. I like optimization. I like efficiency. So when you talk productivity, I think we can do well if we begin taking advantage of these tools. Disease diagnostics with smartphones, they can be accessible to the farmers. If you develop, for example, diagnostics, instead of having a bus, what you used to call a mobile clinic, now we're going to have it in the farmer's hands. And I see you playing a very big role in making this a reality. Post-harvest management. You saw in the statistics, we have a challenge, losses. What about farmers having these in their gadgets? For example, being able to detect defects. So that's quality control. You can develop these using Internet of Things, using artificial intelligence, and have these programs on the phones. So I can see in these coming 4 years, not 5, because the first one is gone, I can see a lot actually happening. So I just want to make a comment before I make a concluding remark. We take note of the comment from the Africa Development Bank about how we organize our priorities. Priority 3 being priority for enabling environment, policy reforms, de-risking agriculture, expanding access to, loans and insurance. Those are very key drivers. So one time a Japanese told me that, the problem with you go into productivity before you identify a market. Sign a contract, then you go and produce. So likewise, I think we need to look into the sequence of how we are doing this. But we can do them together. But of course, you have to make sure that the policies are right, and then it encourages these big investments we are talking about to flow in, because investors have to be sure that they are going to do the agriculture in such a kind of environment. So obviously, the policies are good, they're in place, but we believe in continuous improvements and innovations to ensure that we can accommodate these changes. So that, I think that's well taken. So last is about commitments. Thank you so much that you've already made commitments. The last speaker actually said that the money is not the problem. I do agree with you. I think what's a problem is lack of the ideas of how to use it, or how to tap it and how to use it. So we've seen situations where people have got the money, but the money has gone back to the bank or to Minicofin. I know when I would say CB, Chief Bite Manager, CBM, being given money, but the money goes back to the Treasury. So let's have these capacity building, the policies, being right, and I do believe these trillions will flow in. So I really want to thank you, the partners, our government. I'm not mentioning names because I may risk forgetting the most important key partners. So we want to thank you for being with us on this journey. And very soon, we are going to be convening, and then we see how we can chip into this strategic plan and make sure that we can translate this blueprint document into actions. So I want to thank you once again for turning up, and I want to see you being with us for the next 4 years in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, and once again, congratulations. I think we deserve a song or a dance. There's no launch without, I don't know how it's organized. The last is just a communique. We are going to have a lunch together as another way of networking, exchanging. With Honourable Minister closing remarks, that marks the end of today's discussion. And sorry? Okay. Okay. They were just being informed that our protocol will guide us. We have 2 sets venues for the lunch that will be guiding us. I wish to thank you, and thank you again for bearing. You've been managed to hear my voice and seeing my face. I thank you very much, and I hope we stay in touch. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much.